Hello everybody, it's me, the Real Locomaniac. I'm back again with another 8-Bit Wars. Now as you can see, today I'll be playing a Batman the Movie. Now guys, before I proceed any further, you've got to check out this music on the title screen because it's absolutely phenomenal, and I will be comparing it on the other versions too. Now today's 8-Bit Wars is going to be a tough one because I love all the three different versions that I'll be playing today. I'm going to start off with the Spectrum, then move on to the Amstrad, and then the Commodore 64. So first things first, you'll notice that it's monochrome, it's blue and black, but everything is very crystal clear. You can tell what everything is meant to be. The sprites are nice and large. You can tell those are baddies are meant to be the baddies, and you can tell that's definitely meant to be Batman. And I love the use of the rope there, the bat rope thing. It kind of feels like Bionic Commando. Now I just want to point out that little gas thing that just shoots out there. On the Spectrum it's easier to spot because it's got the little hole there, so you know where they are. On one of the other versions you can't see where it is, and the other version hasn't actually got it. Now basically this is based on the Tim Burton movie, which I think came out around, what, 89 or 88, which starred Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. And as movie licensees go, this is absolutely fantastic. It's a great use of a license because all the levels are split into different game types, so it adds a lot of variety to it, and that's the reason why I think it did so well. I believe this was also programmed by Mike Lamb, who did Robocop, and that was an amazing game. But to give an example of the level types, this is the chemical factory. The second level is the Batmobile level when you're racing down the street. The third level, I believe, is the puzzle section, and I think the fourth level is the Batwing, and I think the last level is a level similar to this, which I think is a cathedral. But all in all, this is a great game. I love the way it looks. Batman's beautifully animated there. I love the sound effects. The soundtrack to this game is just amazing. Like I said before, you know, Robocop, it's very similar to it. I prefer Robocop to this game for the fact that this game is slightly tougher. Now on the bottom of the screen there you'll see the Joker's face. Before I got hit, that was Batman, so every time you get hit you slowly start turning into the Joker. If you turn into the Joker completely, you end up dying. Now not only do you have to try and find Jack Napier and kill him and chuck him into the chemical vat, you've also got to try and get there before the time runs out. So it's kind of hard if you don't know where he is, but you know, after a lot of exploring back in the good old days, I found out where he was, and I'm nearly dead now. But I'll tell you what guys, like I said, today's 8-Bit Wars is going to be a tough one because all the three different versions are absolutely fantastic. It's an amazing game this is. Probably one of my favourite Batman games ever. Alright, that was the Spectrum version of Batman the Movie. And this is Batman the Movie on the Amstrad. I don't find the title screen quite as nice as the title screen on the Spectrum. The Spectrum I just found was more colourful. They could have done a lot better with the Amstrad version. Now check out this music, it's slightly different. It's done at a different sort of tone, so it sounds slightly out of tune, but it still sounds pretty good though. So I'm just going to do my normal keys, what I normally do: 7 right, 6 left, 8 down, 9 up, and 0 for fire, and P for pause. That's what I normally do. I love the music in this game, it's absolutely amazing. Right, so let's get this game ready to rock and roll. So the Axis Chemical Factory, this is where we start off again. Now the first thing you'll notice is the graphics are in full colour. Now the next thing I want to point out again guys, I do apologise if the sound is out of sync. I'm still using my crappy version of Win8. Hopefully I will sort that out for my next couple of videos. Now I love the colour scheme on this Amstrad version. It's really colourful and it really makes the game really stand out. Now I love the sprite of Batman himself there. He's even better than the sprite on the ZX Spectrum version for the fact that he really does look like Batman, you know. He's got his like black cape there, black mask. You can see a bit of his face there. He's got his boots, the yellow belt. Absolutely amazing sprite there, and it's beautifully animated. Now the only thing that this has got slightly different apart from the colour than the ZX Spectrum version, which is it doesn't show where the gas comes out of the pipes. So sometimes you could be sort of going near a pipe, unaware that the gas will come out there and get you. So you've really got to memorise where everything is. If you can do that, it's no real big deal anyway. I mean, this game is absolutely beautiful looking, looks amazing. And the sound basically sounds pretty much exactly the same with the Spectrum, and that is a good thing. Because the Spectrum version sounded phenomenal. But I think the added bonus of actually having colour to this game really adds a lot to it. And how does it play? Basically it moves along at the same sort of speed as the ZX Spectrum, so it's a great looking game that plays fantastically. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why I love doing these 8-bit world videos, is for the fact that, you know, that even though it's based on the same game, the three versions sometimes normally look a bit different, if that makes any sense. Forgot where I was going there for a second. Yeah, because this level's pretty big, it's kind of easy to get lost. So I normally try and stick to the same route. Just lost my bearings there for a second or two. But I think this does look a lot nicer than the ZX Spectrum version. I think the sprites are a little bit smaller, but I think they look a lot better, definitely. Music-wise, it sounds pretty much exactly the same, to be honest with you. And again, look at there, slowly Batman is turning into the Joker there, with his evil grin. And I actually prefer this more than Bionic Commando, actually, with all the rope swinging and stuff like that. Got to be trying careful here not to get hit by the gas there. So you can't really see where the gas comes out from. I only know it's there because I saw the gas come out of there. Now guys, I apologise if I do sound tired. It's because I've only got about an hour and a bit sleep because of my shift work. So yeah, I apologise about that. Alright, so that was the Amstrad version of Batman the movie. Now it's time for the last version, which is Batman on the Commodore 64. Now check out this music. You gotta love the SID chip. How amazing is that? Now, I love the SID chip. I'm a big fan of it. I always, I admit the SID chip is a lot better than the AY chip. Definitely by miles. But it just goes to show how much of a good job the programmers did on the Spectrum and the Amstrad version. Because I'd like to say it's equally as good. The music on this particular game of Batman. You've got to love the soundtrack to this game. It's absolutely amazing. Right, so let's get this game rocking and rolling. The first thing you'll notice that the menu bar is at the top of the screen, as opposed to the bottom like it was on the Spectrum and the Amstrad. Now the next thing you'll notice is this game's got background detail. You've got the walls in the background, so it does look pretty nice. It adds a lot more depth into the game, makes it feel a lot more solid. I quite like the Batman sprite on this particular game as well. Once again, you can actually tell that it's Batman. It's nicely animated there again. The only thing is, I don't feel like the swinging on the bat rope feels as good or looks as good as it does on the ZX Spectrum and the Amstrad. And you've got none of the gas that appears on the pipes there as well. That's one thing that's lacking. But I love the fact that it has got all the background detail there. It really adds a lot more, atmosphere to the game. Let's quickly say another bad thing about it. The baddies on this they're just they're very blocky, and it appears just to be the same baddie that keeps on appearing again and again. But this game does look good, and it does sound good, and it does play good. So it is going to be a tough 8-bit wars, really, guys. Okay, on the Spectrum, you've got the slightly larger sprites. they're crystal clear, even though they're a monochrome, but it controls like a dream, and that's what I normally found with most ZX Spectrum games. They control fantastically. Right, and then you go the Amstrad version, and basically the Amstrad version, slightly smaller sprites than the Spectrum. Sound effects, pretty much exactly the same thing, but the use of colour was amazing. Really bright use of colour. Maybe didn't quite capture the feel of Batman the movie because it's a little bit too colourful, but it's still controlled and played, you know, well. Now this version here, I feel like captured the mood of Batman the movie because it uses sort of like dark colours, like the blues there. But then again, I feel the same thing for the ZX Spectrum version because it was in monochrome, captured that sort of like dark gothic sort of feel of you know, the film itself. So it's going to be a tough one. Not everyone's going to agree with my choice of 8-Bit Wars winner today, but I'm going to have to go for not the Commodore 64. The winner of today's 8-Bit Wars is going to be the